Architectural Builder Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
Custom home I'm doing some stuff on, and architect spec'd out a pivot hinge, but not the actual hinge. This firm doesn't really do shit for engineering of anything. They just draw pictures and then they leave me to engineer it. So whatever's going to be a fairly bulletproof outdoor pivot hinge, we're close to the ocean, but not right next to it. So it doesn't have to be like all stainless, but there's that, whatever you'd recommend in a good pivot hinge. And I know that some have certain features, like it'll want to center itself in a closed position, and wondering if there's like a speed control, like how quickly it falls back to closed position, if that's like a cam or whatever. And then the other thing is there's a lock set, an M-Tech, a keyless M-Tech that I use that I'm actually going to work on this project today. They sold us one that they said was the outdoor rated one. I think it was around $500 or $600 for this lock set, and with teenagers and, tons of kids at, the cool house where everybody goes, they destroyed that in not even a year. It's taken quite a beating. So if there's more of a commercial, something you'd put on a high school or a really high traffic area, like a jail almost. If the keyless entry that's not like insanely expensive, but something that's not going to fall apart.
Okay, so from the top.
Yeah.
The first two of three things.
Okay.
Do you require this be self-closing?
Not necessarily. We could put a closure mechanism on it, just an old school one.
Okay, so if the answer is no, then we can stick with a pivot. Do you want the pivot to be center hung or offset?
When you say center, are you talking about the dead center as to the thickness of the style, or how far in you set it?
Yes, to the former, if that vertical axis of pivoting goes down through the center of the thickness of the gate.
Gotcha. Okay, so it'll be on the centered in the thickness of the style. Yeah. So
okay.
Center hung.
So you want center hung. Okay. How heavy is the gate?
Haven't built it yet, but it's going to be a steel perimeter, some 5/4 hardwood in it. So I'm guessing it won't go more than 200 pounds.
Okay. So that's super easy. So you can use a center hung pivot. Dorma makes their part number is CP440, and I can email you a link to that. It's a center hung pivot that it'll certainly handle the weight. It'll handle the use, the potential abuse on it as well. And, and I'll send you a link to that. Now, yeah, so that'll make, how thick is the gate?
Well, I imagine it'll be at least 1 3/4 inches, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Okay. So the thickness relates.
Actually, if I go with the steel perimeter frame, it'll be 2 inch.
Okay. Yeah, sure. And you're going to mount the pivot. You'll have a header and the ground that you can attach this to?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, as far as the header, if I do it with 2-inch tubing, that's what it's going to go in. So we'll have a wall thickness. Yeah, we'll have a wall thickness of 11 gauge, so it's a little under 3/16.
Yeah, that's going to be substantial. Okay. So now regarding so that makes life super easy in that regard.
Okay.
Okay. Now regarding the keyless entry, I definitely can't think of what I would do if having a keyless lock, those are going to be residential. MTech is residential. It's nice material. Omnia, it's residential rated. And I would be surprised to learn that any of the material is rated for an exterior application. That's a different animal than having it on the front door of a house that has a 8-foot overhang.
Right.
What I think should be done is that you put proper access control on it, a keypad, a fob reader, a magnetic lock, a very robust electric latch retraction lock set, something that's not only rated for the use, but rated for the application of it being exterior. And IEI makes exterior rated keypads. You see them all the time. But that's a paradigm shift. You're going away from everything you've prepped the door for. Well, not everything. But now you've got to add, something in addition to that. So that would be, if you want something to put on a school, they're going to put a grade 1 lock. They're going to put a keypad. Obviously, you want to be able to get out, so probably a lock with electric latch retraction, a lock that would unlock the exterior trim. But then now the issue, it's going to change the hardware that you buy if this is the same application, because now I've got to get low voltage to the lock.
Okay.
Or you do something else, a magnetic lock, where you don't have to have voltage in the gate, but in the gate itself, but you would in the jam post.
That's going to be easier, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to fabricate steel jams out of some pretty heavy gauge rectangular tubing. It's actually 1x3, because I want to have a very rigid jam that I'm going to be setting in concrete, and it's going to have no horizontal decent attachment, so I don't want the whole thing to be wobbly. So in that jam, you'll have an ID of 1 inch by 3 inches, and you could certainly drop a wire down it. And it's just 12 volts going to it, or 24 rather.
Yeah, 24 mostly. You could do 12 or 24, but
Okay.
Either would work. 24 is more common.
All right, and then that's probably a direction we'd like to go. Now, an old school electronic lock, that's just a solenoid that needs something to send a signal to it. Is that something that can be integrated into a phone? Like with a third device, like something that will read and then drive that signal.
There are, and it's out of my area of expertise. There are
sort of a low voltage power supply. Yeah.
Well, the power supply is no problem, but you would need an access control software that would run what you want to run, and then it just treats the hardware as, a load, but in terms of hardware that you could mount on your phone, that would be outside of my scope.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I barely know how to use phones. I'm a screwdriver and hammer guy. So back to this keyless, like in the electronic lock, there's a guy that does all of our alarms and secure stuff, and I'll give him a holler. I'll see how familiar he is with, if he's ever really gotten into just your old school grade 1 locks on commercial stuff, or what he typically uses. But I just hate building stuff and seeing it fall apart. Fortunately I didn't throw away the one MTech lock that had an electronic failure, so they sent us a new one. So I kept the inside lever, which is exactly what failed on the interior side of this project. So I kept it, so I'm able to repurpose it. But yeah, stuff shouldn't fall apart that quick. So I'm thinking I might want to learn a bit about these grade 1 locks if I'm going to be doing a lot of this sort of thing, because I get a lot of high-end oceanfront clientele, and I'd like to get familiar with stuff that's not going to be continually failing.
Yeah, no doubt. A simple arrangement could be a grade 1 electric strike rated for an exterior application, a simple keypad, or one that would incorporate a reader, like a prox reader, a fob, something you have on your keychain or a card, and then a power supply. And you can program the keypad right there at the keypad itself. It's simple, it's robust and durable. You would still obviously need some sort of locking hardware on the door in order to allow you to exit. So there's different pieces of hardware to do the job, but that might be a simple, straightforward way to go because you've got the jam tube that will allow the installation of the item in terms of dimensional requirements. That might work out pretty well.
Great, sounds good. So my goal is to have a keypad so that people living there can get themselves in, and then easily buzz somebody in. This is probably a it's more like 11,000 square foot house. So if somebody's way the hell on the other side of the house, they shouldn't have to run to a central location to buzz somebody in. So that's why I'm thinking phone. Anyway, we'll get closer to this. Let's see. So the other question, this architect did an illustration of what they see as a gate going on this project. And I'm trying to design the hardware for it. And they have two choices. We either find a keyless latch, which I thought I saw something with a really narrow profile. So if I wanted to fit a keyless latch in a 2-inch square tubing, and that somehow that thing will mortise in and fit within that 2x2 dimension that will drop in and basically mortise into that tubing. Does that exist? Is there something with a tiny little back set to throw a latch and something that would fit in a narrow perimeter like 2 inches?
So the answer is yes. So CABA makes mechanical and electronic combination locks for use on aluminum storefront. And those styles are super tiny.
Yeah.
So those definitely exist. They're larger pieces of hardware, from a rectangular perspective, they're tall, but you can do it. You said it was is it 2x2?
Yeah, I'm thinking about going 2x2.
Yeah, it's going to be perfect. Yeah, that CABA, it's literally a CABA mechanical lock. It's got to have a key cylinder as a backup. It'll work on a 2x2. You'll put a lock body in the edge of the door, a strike in the jamb. You're done.
Beautiful, awesome. And you'll send me a spec on that?
Yeah, I'll dig that up.
Awesome, appreciate it. Great. Well, let me jot down that part number, and then I'll just reference back to your email later, but I got to get out the door here. What's the part number for that? Is it CABA with a K or a C?
It's a K. I don't recall the part number. I have to look it up. I don't. They have so many dozens of different platforms, and I know that I have one here somewhere near my desk, but I don't know where the box is. It's a mechanical combination lock for aluminum store. Oh, here it is. It's right here. So the part number on my lock, is this it? Okay. So the part number would be 3000. It's a CABA 3002 would be the part number.
How do you spell CABA?
KABA.
KABA 3002.
Yeah, that would be a lock that you probably should be able to find.
Okay.
That would give you, and what's nice about that is there's no wires, obviously.
Great. Cool. Well, these guys love to hear options. So, cool. I'll show them that, and then I'll talk to them about the electric type latch. Now, this CABA, can that operate as an electric latch as well?
Well, no? You can put an electric strike on there. So, if no one's home and you want to give the landscaper the mechanical code, boom, you're good. But if someone's home and it's the pizza guy, you can, have the strike release the lock to let them in.
So we could do everything with this CABA then. That's great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, if you can include the electric strike that might mate with that as well, that would make it super easy for me to order.
Yeah, that is all. Folger Atom will have something, Yeah, we'll have to figure out which one we like for that. Probably the 3000, the 310 would be good for that.
Okay.
But yeah, there's lots of options in terms of the electric strikes, and I'll just send you links to that stuff, and you'll be able to you'll be able to do lots of clicking around. And you're right, people like options, whether you're building an 11,000 square foot house or something more modest. Options are always good, and being able to provide them are awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Well, great. You've been an amazing help, Rich. You have yourself a great day, and I'll look for your emails.
Thank you, sir. Sending it right now.
All right. We'll see you. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.